It's time. Diddy trial. It's on and popping. If you are not watching television and social media right now, you are missing a whole bunch of nothing. Sean Diddy, whole bunch of nothing. Whole bunch of nothing. There's nothing happening except for the fact that we're learning that he's a big old nasty freak, and she was doing a lot of freaky things. Now, this is where I'm confused. And Rob is our emotional coach, and she's our researcher. So between the three of us, we're going to break down what's happening in Diddy do it or did he not? Sean Diddy Combs, sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy trial. That's what he's being accused of. Sex trafficking and racketeering is underway and displayed for all of us to see. The testimonies have been graphic, shocking, and just plain old nasty. As things unfold in the courtroom, prosecutors and witnesses like Diddy's ex Cassie Cassandra Ventura, who's expecting baby number 3 with hubby Alex Fine, who used to be Diddy and Cassie's trainer that Diddy hired, who they said he was training Diddy first. His name is Alex Fine. Anyway, wow, I just said what I said. Well, anyway, there's a sex worker named Daniel Phillips who's entered the chat. Now, he's testifying that Diddy allegedly directed him to sexually engage with Cassie, including role-playing scenarios and specific sex acts like urination. He also alleged that Diddy would offer drugs, which he declined. Now, Daniel has also alleged that Diddy paid him thousands of dollars for the sex sessions, but sometimes wouldn't give him a dime if he couldn't perform up to Diddy's standards, like when he couldn't get an erection after watching Diddy allegedly beat Cassie. In one alleged incident, Daniel said Cassie asked him to urinate on her and in her mouth. Let me show you what Daniel Phillip had to say about Cassie. He said, so Cassie was actually the one that asked me to urinate on her. They had just come out of the room and she asked me if I had ever done that before, and I said no. And she told me to do it. And apparently I was doing it wrong because they both stopped me and told me that I was supposed to let a little out at a time and not go full like take a leak on her. I have to stop here by saying that I'm into a lot of things. I am open-minded. I am flexible, not in that way. I am down to try some stuff. I'm drawing the line at getting peed or crapped on. What is sexy about being urinated on? I'm sure you've been urinated on.
Oh my God.
Rob.
No.
Have you?
No.
Rob.
No.
The notes are so
Hold
long.
on.
Rob, it's
Rob.
a safe space.
Rob, nobody's listening. Go.
No. I will never lay in a bed that has urine that is urine soaked.
Have you been in a shower and been urinated on?
Possibly.
I know my friend.
Not like, listen, we're not going to talk about my sexcapades here, but I would never let pee come
about
near
being urinated on.
I don't. I think it's maybe like a dominance thing. Some people may like to be dominated that way. I think it might be like a humiliation, like control thing. I don't know. I'm not a person who likes to get peed on or pee on people. That is not my thing.
Have you been peed on?
No.
Marina.
I pee on my own feet when I'm in the shower, but that's it.
But I mean, I think everybody kind of pees when they're in the shower. Look, I don't want to sex shame because there's a lot of you big old freaks out there watching right now who are like, "Ooh, I want to get peed on." You know, look, there used to be, Anyway, I'm not gonna go there. I don't hear anything illegal in that first answer though. You hire somebody, you give them gifts. Maybe that's prostitution, whatever. But like, I don't hear racketeering or conspiracy. Well, Daniel alleged that Diddy was masturbating as he urinated on Cassie, claiming he was always sitting in the corner masturbating his little thing. And occasionally he would tell me to step off and back off because he was going to get some. And I would be sitting in the corner watching. He also said that Diddy would complain about a lack of baby oil during sex. Now, reportedly, as Daniel testified, Diddy's 3 oldest daughters left the courtroom. Let me just set the scene. His kids and family, mom, and everybody is sitting in the courtroom as people were talking about how they got peed on. Despite Daniel's claims, Cassie later detested the urination acts, testifying, "I didn't want it. It was disgusting. It was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted it. It was obvious I didn't want to be on the ground being urinated on by 2 men." Now, she alleged that she was often peed on by sex workers and even Diddy, both unwanted experiences. Now, reacting to the claims about Cassie initiating urination acts, Boosie Lil Boosie, friend to the show, had this to say. She liked the piss in her mouth. Don't see any crime he has done. Everything was consensual. She enjoyed the sex thrills and all the gifts after. I see no crime but domestic violence in this case. Shaking my head, but they left Hugh Hefner do shaking my head, but they let Hugh Hefner do whatever he wanted to do. This was sad. If he was black, he would have been in prison. Let's keep it 1,000. It's crazy how sex parties become crimes. What do you think? Crime?
No, and I don't think that the prosecution is presenting this to say it's a crime. I think they're presenting this information to make him look like a person who disparaged women, who treated women very poorly, and to set up an image of him with the jury where they're looking at him like he could absolutely do the things that they're saying. Whereas Cassie is 8.5 months pregnant, sitting on the stand, having to recall being men peeing on her and peeing in her mouth. So I think they're doing a great job at showing her as a victim of these violent acts. But this isn't necessarily the crime.
But listen, he also paid her allegedly $20 million settlement.
30.
Okay, to go away. And so there's that. The second thing is, isn't there something to be said that she's 8 months pregnant with her third child, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
By the man who her boyfriend, who's on trial for, hired as their trainer. Like, you're sleeping with the help.
But it's also, I'm sure, did he already? No, I'm sure information is going to come out about, I believe it has already, about
You're not
her.
on the prosecution.
No, I'm not saying I'm on the prosecution. I'm just saying while you're giving that perspective, I'm saying what I think the prosecution is doing. I don't think they're saying that peeing on her was a crime.
No. I agree with you. They're trying to paint him as the monster. And I get it. But here's the deal. When it comes specifically to this part of all the testimony and stuff, why do we care that he peed on her? It's his girlfriend. He could pee on her if she wants to. She let him. She didn't file a complaint. She didn't call no friend. She didn't write it in her journal. She didn't write a note. She didn't slide a note to the driver. She didn't call Nicole. She didn't what?
But I think that's the point. It's leading up to the fact that she had been under him as an artist for so long, and he had been recording her with these heinous acts and allowing her to record music and never putting her music out. So,
and this is only a part of the larger conversation, because she would say if she said no to stuff that he would put hands on her.
I'm not disrespecting anybody by saying this next statement. And again, I'm not defending Diddy because I'm just here reporting the story. But how many Cassie songs can you name?
It's me and you.
Give me another one.
Mm-hmm. But that's part of the problem.
No, because he didn't put the music out. Did the first music sell?
Yes, that was a hit.
What song?
Me and you.
That was a hit.
Why you point to her? Because you don't know the name of it. But you don't know the name of it. Oh my God. I'm just saying it's not Me, Myself, and I. It's not It's not Irreplaceable. It's not Halo. It's not. Who sung all those songs?
But I think
who sung those songs?
I think she was.
Who sung those songs? Right, but so we know the names, right? So I'm just saying, like, y'all in here playing,
but that is her point. That's her point that she couldn't get to
Correct.
irreplaceable status because
because she's not Beyonce. She's not Beyonce, so we're not gonna do that. But the point is, I get what you're saying. She's alleging that her career suffered as a result of her being in this relationship that she chose to be in with this guy.
But I think that's again, I think she was saying in the beginning, yes, the relationship was great, that being with him was like exciting. I was learning all these new things. But then as it progressed, her job became have sex with all these people every day. And she didn't get to, she could leave and go, do something for press, but then she would have to come back and continue sex acts all day. So her whole career became being used as a sex slave, essentially.
Well, when Cassie testified, she alleged that during her 10 years with Diddy, she was subjected to drugs, arguments, physical and psychological abuse, and then sexual abuse, akin to the alleged FreakOffs, that she said she was forced to set up initially find escorts on Craigslist, then strip clubs and referrals. She also said she was forced to do them despite being on her period, but she pretended to enjoy the alleged FreakOffs so that Diddy wouldn't do them with someone else. Explain that. How do you explain that, Rob?
Explain what?
She did the freak off so he wouldn't do it with nobody else.
I don't know the context of that. But I know the thing.
Take that context I just gave you. Explain that to me.
I can't.
No, but if she's saying, I did all of this because I didn't want him to do it with nobody else. Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
I don't know. I know she said she often felt like she couldn't say no because he would get violent. But
She
that
said,
I don't know.
okay, I'm just saying this onion is getting interesting as you peel it back. Now, Cassie testified that after sex workers ejaculated on her, Diddy allegedly wanted her to put the semen on his nipples. First of all, I hate the word nipple in general. I just don't even like the word.
Man.
I hate that word.
I hate it too.
Nipples. This just screams big old freak.
Mm-hmm.
Ill. Number one, ill. I am not a fan of body fluids. I don't want you rubbing your body fluids on me. First of all, you put them on her. Now she got to put them on me. The transfer of fluidity is just too excessive for me. For real.
Now it's thinned out and
It's
sticky.
sticky.
And
It's sticky.
drying
to
up.
me.
Icky of it all.
It's, you know when it gets
Just a bunch
crusty.
of
Oh
kids-
my god! I'm
Just a
just
bunch
sitting.
of kids living all on your chest. Well, anyway, she even claimed that the alleged FreakOffs became a job, leaving her with no time to do anything else but to do that. And then she would have to recover. She said that she signed to Diddy back in 2006, and it was for a 10-album deal, but she only released one and was never paid for anything else. And she claimed the longest alleged freak-off lasted 4 days. She admitted to giving the feds laptops, adding that she was blackmailed if she ever went against Diddy. This is why I think it's just better to be single. And I'm going to tell you why. You be with somebody for 10 years, y'all doing this freaky deaky stuff, and then at the end, you want $20 million because they said she alleged to try to put a book out on him a few times that was stopped. And then all of a sudden, right before it went out, she was able to get the bag. And then now here comes the trial. Isn't this just reason to be single?
No.
No.
It's reason to not be in a relationship that is violent.
Violence is what it. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, of course, but he's not on trial for being a violent boyfriend. He's on trial for alleging to be engaged in sex trafficking.
That response was just to your question of it. Should this be?
But what I'm saying
should
is,
you be single?
In anything I just said, do you hear crime?
No, and I don't think that's what this is meant to be.
So is Diddy getting out?
No.
No.
Why he ain't getting out?
I'm sure the prosecution has a lot more that's gonna.
OJ had a blood trail, Bronco
just think
chase.
that video-
Hold on, glove behind the building. Kato Kalin. He had intent, motive. He had time cut on his hand, blood droplets on the car, and he was not guilty.
He was found not guilty. Yes,
He was not guilty in a court of law.
correct. He was found not guilty in the court of law, and I think we kind of talked about that too. And I think if you
brought up
don't
OJ.
have overwhelming evidence that someone is guilty, you have to be very careful about how you approach it. And them having him put that tiny little glove on in the courtroom was a major misstep for them. And he was sitting there showing that glove off, and that was the perfect opportunity for that famous line.
So
"If the
in
glove
this
doesn't fit, you
case,
must
where you
acquit."
don't have anybody showing off that nipple with the kids on it, what do we have here?
But I think we do have an overwhelming amount of evidence that shows a history.
We're
of,
not talking about the dildo
but,
collection.
No, I'm not talking about that.
I
I'm
think
saying
that video
we
is
have-
gonna be the
that's-
hardest thing.
I said we
for
have.
him to
That's what I was gonna say. We have an overwhelming amount of evidence that shows a track record of him manipulating people to prevent his violent nature and the way he was abusive to her in the relationship from coming out. I'm not saying that's the crime, but I am saying that's going to be hard for the jury to unsee and unthink. We didn't have a video of OJ stabbing someone. We didn't have a video of OJ doing those things. So I'm saying it's going to be a lot harder for this juror, which is a very mixed jury. There's a lot of older women on that jury. It's going to be very hard for them to see this pregnant woman sitting up there talking about being peed in her mouth and being beaten and watching the video. It's going to be very hard for them to sit back and go, I don't think he could do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have not heard any crime related to the charges.
But isn't coercion on there?
Did you? No. Stop adding to the
It
crime.
is a charge,
Excuse
and coercion
me,
is
excuse me.
hidden.
Stop. Coercion is something. It ain't the crime on this. It is conspiracy. It is sex trafficking, and it is not listed in what we just talked about. We heard of nipples. We talked about ejaculation. We talked about, there's even claims that she has sores on her tongue from engaging in tongue stuff. Okay. We heard about some hookers he may have paid to come and do some stuff. He jacked off while she did this. I heard nasty, big old, nasty, trifling freak. I did not hear crime.
I hear sex trafficking. I think that's
Where
what's
you
gonna-
hear the sex
because
trafficking?
this woman is being she's being
escorts.
used essentially for sex, and she has no recourse to escape because he has her on videotape.
She didn't
and he's
say
harboring
she
her
did
with her
not
career.
say he made me do it. I did not just. Did anybody hear me say that he out of her own mouth?
But that's the play on words. In
Wait.
court.
In her own words, did we hear her say he made me do it with these guys?
You don't have to hear her say those words for wordplay in court to make sense. If you can get a person on stand to say, I did not want men peeing on me. I did not want to be in violent sexual situations. I did not want to be dragged
Can I
down
ask
the
you a
hallway.
question, Rob?
And
Can I
then
ask you a
have her say,
personal?
I
Can I ask
wanted
you a
to have my
personal
career.
question? This
Yeah.
is just to clarify, and this is for our audience. I apologize.
I'm not an attorney now.
No. But I'm now going to be an attorney like Rob, and I'm going to ask for some evidence, okay, in the case. Okay. Have you ever been involved with somebody sexually and somebody scat on one another?
What is that? Pooted?
Hold on. I'm just,
What?
excuse me. I'm asking the court. I'm asking you a question in the courtroom. Have you ever been in a situation? I'm not saying you're the scatter or the scattee. I'm just saying, have you ever been in a situation where in the midst of a sexual act,
God.
scatting happened?
No.
That's a lie. Okay, but let me ask you, in a situation like that, did either party want that to happen?
Probably
No.
not.
Okay, so does one get to come years later and go, that person had sex with me and made me scat? No. Listen, this is the thing. I'm not going to weigh in and say that she did or didn't do it because clearly she got beat in the video. He beat her. There's no doubt about that. He's a monster. No doubt about that. They say he killed Tupac or Biggie. They look, whatever. I'll say alleged. Maybe he had people killed. He was a bully. I said myself he was evil. I heard he was the devil. All those bad things can exist. I'm asking for the elements of the crime that he's being charged with right now. In what I said, I did not hear he forced her to have sex with other people against her will.
But again, I'm saying I don't think that the prosecution has brought that forward yet. I think they're just setting the stage
Oh,
for
yeah, of course,
to make
no
him
doubt.
look like a violent person.
No doubt. Well, listen, Cassie, we're going to be here watching you talk for the next few days. I want justice for Cassie. I want justice for anybody involved. Listen, if you were forced to put baby oil or dildos on Diddy, please call whatever hotline is taking that information. And those people that are in the courtroom are coming out and saying, in fact, this journalist right here said that people in the courtroom were so annoyed, they were just leaving. Don't believe me? Take a look.
Okay, guys, so I just came out of the Diddy trial. Got a ton of notes for you guys. I'm going to break down these videos. I got to get out of NYC, though, but I hate to say it. The bottom line is people who came to watch the case were walking out. I hate to say it. We were getting bored in there with Cassie's testimony. I think everybody thought it was going to be explosive. This is a RICO case. They're trying to show trafficking, if you know what I mean. And I hate to say it, but the government is doing a terrible job at showing it.
So clearly the federal government is not doing its job because there's federal charges. Now, you want to arrest him for domestic violence, being an asshole, being evil, nutting on nipples, you can do all that. I just don't think this is going to stick. Now, what happens? Here's my question. What happens if Diddy gets out, found not guilty?
I think everyone's going under. I think he's going to sing like a bird and everyone's going under. Either way, whether he's free or locked up forever, I feel like it's over with. Don't you? I feel like everyone's going to come forward.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get off. I think it's gonna be very hard for them to prove this case, but I think that they will.
Okay, well, we'll keep watching. Look, I pray for peace with everybody involved. His kids have to go there and see it. The mom has to go there and see it. And we're all waiting to see what the outcome of this is going to be. This is sad because Cassie is such a beautiful, nice soul. And Diddy, you know what they've been saying about you for a long time. You know, the devil, darkness, whatever. But either way, we'll be watching. Okay, goodbye. I'm getting a headache from all this toxicity. Listen, for all of you guys watching, we only do this show because you want to know what we think. But I don't want to talk about this every day. There will be a day where we hang it up flat screen.